en CPAC México with the president of Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child, right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children.
Unmute. There you go. Good evening to all. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Boys News. We are broadcasting live from our home. Today is the 26th of November. The time is 9:31 West Coast time. I have been sick a little bit. I have infection in my throat, so it has been really difficult for me to do the informative live streams for every single one of you to get the news as it is as possible. The Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, has responded to Donald Trump, and she did not respond it as well as Americans wanted to be responded. She has a little bit of, she's accurate in a couple of things. The transnational trafficking of drugs is the bilateral problem. It's a reality. We cannot lie about that. If we continue to lie about that, it is never going to get resolved. Why am I meaning like this? You have a buyer and then you got a seller. And the buyer, it is completely, infested in the United States of America. And the United States, the current administration that is going to be governing the next 4 years, needs to understand that they need to dismantle these organized rings of the organized crime inside of the United States of America. So you can actually ultimately start working with the demand. And the demand will decrease, and then the cartel will have less power. And, that will be the actual way to the military to start executing. It's a bilateral problem. We already know this. The United States of America, it is the number one buyer of synthetic drugs in the world. So it is a problem. It is a huge problem that goes both ways. And it has to be resolved immediately in the bilateral way. Donald Trump is pressuring on the tariffs. And I think that is a great strategy to push these politicians in Mexico to do their work and to hit them in the pocket so they will understand. A lot of these people, they think that this is violent. I was hearing a Spaniard politician saying that he cannot believe the most richest man in the world, Elon Musk, was against migrants, the poor people, the hardworking class. And he was saying the most richest man, and completely emphasizing and the most richest man. And I would like to respond to that guy. The most richest man also was Bill Gates. And he's pushed this shot into every single one of us and completely infested the world. One of the most powerful mans was Joe Biden, and look what he did to his own country and to the world. Talking about a economical status doesn't mean what kind of individual, what you stand for. It's just, this is the current situation of the United States of America. You have a problem. And the problem is because the borders were wide open. The Global Compact on Migration was signed without the American consent of the American citizens. The American citizens never, this is an international treaty signed underneath the table by all these globalist politicians that they believe that a humanitarian migration is a reality. What is going to happen now? This is the next thing. What it is going to happen now, next to with Tom Homan, the current Trump administration. How is it going to be easy? It is going to be hard. For me to be blunt and to be open about it is going to be extremely hard. It is not going to be easy. The Biden administration opened the door to evil. There's close to 400,000 children missing. Some of them you're not going to be, and I'm talking a lot of them, you're not going to be able to recover. And we know how the trafficking of children starts and how they get groomed from South America, Central America into the United States. But this is a multi-billion-dollar business, and it is not going to go away as easy as you come in and you're just trying to eradicate it. It's going to be extremely hard. The cartel, it is not going to stop. This is why the implementation of a tariff has to be done on Mexico. So they will understand that this is serious. If the Mexican president is already talking about it, is because she knows that something is coming. And she knows that this is actually going to be an accurate situation that is possibly going to come to our country of Mexico. But, you know, it's unbelievable how it is going to be resolved. It is going to be really difficult. It is not going to be hard. It is not going to be easy. It is going to be really hard to fix this problem. It's a lot of work. It requires a lot of unity. It requires a lot of loyalty to fix this problem. It's a lot of money involved. And it is going to have to require every government from every country to start resolving this as the flow comes, migrant flow from China, migrant flow from Afghanistan, migrant flow from all these countries that I have walked with. Africa, the whole continent of Africa. You need to understand the epicenters and their problems of why they migrate and why they've been incentivized by the cartel to cross to these pathways. They're extremely difficult. Knowing that factor, you can just put a bottleneck right there and create this other pathway for them to understand that there's a process. That is the difference that is going to happen. But the hard thing is, how is it going to get fixed? And it is going to be really hard. It's going to be difficult. The cartel, it is not going to go as easy as you want him to go. They're not going to say, "Good morning, I'm gone." Okay, I understand you changed the president and your policies. I understand that, but I'm leaving. I'll come back in the next 4 years to see if the Democrats will win. They're not going to do that. They're going to push it and see where they can push that button to see if they can trigger, the president of the United States of America and see what he's capable of doing. It's mass deportation, how it is going to be done. A lot of people have asked me this question. And mass deportation, a lot of the strategy that has been here in context here and there, is going to start with the people that there are non grata people, people that they have cheated on asylum and refugee, people that they're economical migrants, but they are not asylum and refugee, and they came in as an asylum and refugee. Also, the criminals, the ones that they're doing bad stuff, the ones that they are actually committing crimes and giving a bad name to the Hispanic and the Latino people. Of course, those ones are going to be next ones, and they're going to be massively deported. But let's see where it kicks off from there. Stay in Mexico policy, I don't know if they're going to implement that policy again. It's speculation. Everybody's talking about it. Let's see what happens, because they need to sit down with the Mexican government and see how they're going to resolve this situation. They need to sit down and see how they are going to resolve the situation. Somebody's saying they are all economical migrants. That is a lie. Miss Jacqueline Tackerberry, no, that is a lie. You have legitimate cases of persecution and legitimate cases of asylum. You're not talking about millions of them, but you're talking about thousands of legitimate cases of asylum that they are registered also. And they're coming from persecution. But the majority, men, military age males, majority are economical migrants. And also you have, the families that they are economical migrants. But you have cases of asylum and refugee. You have legitimate cases. And a lot of these legitimate cases, they are stuck in central parts of Mexico, Querétaro, Puebla, City of Mexico. You said, I said almost all. Let me just reply to your comment, Miss Jacqueline. You said they are all economical migrants. You didn't said, I said almost all. You said they are all. You reference to all. That's why I'm answering your comment. With all respect, first and foremost. I will answer your questions. Let me go to the Q&A. I'm doing this video for Q&A, specific reasons, and I'm going to play a video that I edit and I did, and I posted on X. This is a video that I already posted on my platforms. And I want to emphasize and talk about the trafficking of children, trafficking of women that I have presence. Horrible stories. I will try to explain a story of the one that I, particularly was interacting with, doing an interview. And I never got this interview out because of the delicacy and the aggravated situation which it is. But I can talk about the interview, but I did this interview in the Darien, outside of the Darien, and horrible. This story is horrible. So I will, I will greatly explain this situation, why you put yourself through these pathways, and it has been regularized and normalized by a political party in the United States. And politicians, let me just say in general, because a lot of Republicans are part of this, they're still funding, and they're still funding a lot of Republicans. Who was Mike Johnson is the head of the House. He's the one, I was listening to the other day. I was on an X space with a great individual that I just met. His name is Ryan Mata. And I just met him. And he was telling me, Oscar, the Republicans, Mike Johnson was the one that approved more federal funding than Nancy Pelosi for federal grants into these NGOs. And I was completely in shock. I was like, no way. And for me to just acknowledge that, it was just like a big punch in the stomach. So it's we cannot be blind about what the Republicans also they're doing. That's why clean the house, ultimately, and the policies, they need to be implemented. And also the most important thing, you have to stop this funding to these federal grants, to these NGOs. Stop these federal grants to these NGOs. This is the number one thing. You're still funding these NGOs. They're going to continue with this. It's a total disgrace. You have missing children all over the country, all over the world. Number one thing that I have said multiple times on multiple broadcasts: get out of the global compact on migration, cut the funding and federal grants to these NGOs, and after that, try to initiate, an audit and an execution of the people that they have been behind this, and try to find ultimately where all are these children. That's the number one thing. It's going to be really hard. As a lot of people are saying, we're going to find them. We're going to find them. It's me that I live over here in Mexico, that I know how this works. It is not going to be easy. These people already have plan A, plan B, and plan C. It's going to have it's going to be a lot of dedication and a lot of loyalty from, internal governmental workers to do this job, because there's a lot of corruption. I'm sorry. And also there is it's a multi-million-dollar business. So I apologize. I'm still sick. I thought that I was good to speak, but I am, as I'm listening to myself right now, I am not good to speak yet, but I will continue the live feed. I don't want to be disrespectful. We'll listen to your comments. Carl Sink, Cali Sink, U.S. funding corruption in migrant countries. So cut the U.S. funding to that, number one. The normies, not migrant for economics. Okay, this is another one. Hold on, let me do something with the screen. So there we go. We're good now. So I will listen to your comments, questions. And I will listen to your comments. They're all being paid off. Uh, uh, Katie Manning, Oscar, they're all being paid off. The entire government is guilty of treason, and more, if not all, most of them. I almost agree with you entirely. Uh, let me see another comment. Lena Archer shut down the NGOs. They are doing this. Prosecute the people running them to the fullest extent of the law. Yes, absolutely. 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 Um, Tony's Vega. Why hasn't you put hasn't on the bottom? Yes, I read that. The Mexican governor arrested Luis Rubalcaba. He's in charge of the caravans. It's not Luis Rubalcaba. It's Luis Villagran. He's the one receiving the big bucks. I have walked with him. I documented more than 12 caravans in the south of the border. And you have to know the story of Luis Villagran to do an accusation like that, brother. You have to know the story about him. No, it's okay. You're good. You're good. You're good. So I walked with him 12 caravans. The guy literally, we have, all journalists have been asking around about him. And then we have been close to him and doing interviews, because I have done interviews, close to him, like sitting down and let me just talk to you. What is your intention to this caravan? Always the answer it is, I have said to him bluntly and in front of him, I said, Luis, they are accusing you of being a trafficker, of being a coyote. What do you say to that? And he always says, I'm doing this out of my own heart. He has an NGO that is called Centro de Dignificación Humana, Center of Human Dignification. The guy was in prison for almost 18 years. He fought a case and he won the case for the Commission International Human Rights. The Commission International Human Rights put a lawsuit to the government of Mexico, and he won some money. And with that money, he bought his own house and he created this NGO that basically, did this. So, this is the I have talked to him so many times, and I have asked him this question. Where do you get the funding? Where do you this? Where do you that? He says, I'm doing it I'm out of my own time. He's a lawyer also, so he does cases, minor cases. I'm not defending the guy. I just haven't found a legitimate, statement that I can say, yes, he's receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know other activists that they are, and we have proof of that. I know another activist, and so many other progressive mercenary liberal activists that they have potentially also been involved. This is the way that they work. They get a lot of infiltrated individuals, backpackers that they're carrying synthetic drugs, infiltrated people that they're bad people that they just want to be infiltrated and want to be seen. This is the way that it works. So for me to just say he's receiving a lot of money, I have to have proof, brother. As a journalist, I have to have like the proof in my hands. From now, I can tell you that I know the man, and I talked to him so many times. And what he has demonstrated to me is doing it is the kind of out of his own heart. What he has done. I don't agree with it. I have said it multiple times. I don't agree, with you making these caravans, but that's his way of a statement that immigration, it is bad in Mexico. And he was controversial this last time. Why? Because he was asked, who do you prefer of winning the election of the United States of America? And he said, bluntly, everything that is better than that devil, Kamala Harris. So he knows about, he's a Christian. So he knows about the woke ideology and all this kind of stuff. And he's not agreeing with that. So it's kind of like, it's crazy. it's off balance kind of stuff. It's crazy how you sit down with these people and you try to get information, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I agree with you with this. I agree with you, but I don't agree with you with this. You know what I mean? It's really difficult to find that. um, let me see if I can. Uh, Not a question. It says right here. But I have followed you now for 5 years. When your main push was the child trafficking, thank you for being who you are and trying to help show the truth. It has always been there, and I have always done that. But the thing is that I have completely evolution into an individual that now it has seen firsthand, and firsthand I have seen it how people are dying. I don't go to the border. I go directly to a jungle, to a caravan, to places that are extremely dangerous. And I have seen it firsthand. There's nobody can tell me this. I've seen it firsthand. And it has completely changed me because I now understand the difficulties of how every person, how how they being incentivized to do this, and they risk their lives to do this. you know you must excuse me to every single one of you. I'm going to end the live feed. I thought that I was I thought that I was okay to speak. And yes, before I leave, I would like to say why I got sick. I got sick on this past caravan. I believe that I have initiations of dengue, and that has been an issue. I've been sick for like 3 or 4 days, fever, diarrhea, and all this kind of stuff that you get with dengue. Uh, and when I was in the Darien Gap, I got 3 times sick with malaria, I think so, and 1 time dengue. So I've been sick these couple of 3 or 4 days, and it hasn't been good. And the caravan that I was at, I did a video about it. And I was in the middle of all of it. Like always, I walked through the middle of all this commotion and all of this. And, I catched a bacteria possibly, or a virus. And I've gotten really sick in these past 4 to 5 days. So I'm going to have to leave and apologize to every single one of you. I'm not doing good with my voice, so I won't. I don't want to be consistently, my throat be consistently hurt speaking. I thought that I was good, but I'm not. I'm not doing good. So I will come back hopefully tomorrow and see, you know, see if tomorrow I'm better, so I can give you guys a better, a live feed and be with you guys for quite some time and do a Q&A, because that's the most important thing. I want to get people, to ask all these questions and for me to answer all these questions, and for people to just like understand what's the whole deal, what's going on. So God bless you guys. Stay safe. Like we always say, God's plan, it is our mission.